If you're wondering if the Mavic Air 2S is the right drone for you and if you should be making that kind of an investment in a drone, because drones are not cheap, you don't really just run to the store and pick them up. Then in this week's video, I'm gonna be breaking it down for you on things to consider that will help you to decide if this is the right drone for you. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Christine, and this is Create with CL, where I give away all of my secrets on what goes behind being a travel creator, and one of my tools is my drone. I am so passionate in helping people to fly drones. Drones are easy. It doesn't need to be this complicated thing. So if you don't like to geek out on the spec pages and you don't understand what all of those different things mean, my goal is to break it down for you in this video. So let's dive in. Let's talk about the quality, starting with the 1-inch sensor. What does it mean to have a 1-inch sensor? It means that this drone will take better photos and videos at night, and it also means that the quality is higher. And to be honest, it actually brings it really, really close to the level of some of the Mavic Pro drones, which is pretty phenomenal because it's at a fraction of the price. This drone shoots in 5.4K, which is really high quality. And as a reminder, the Mavic Air 2 and the Mavic Mini 2 are both shooting in 4K, which is still really high quality. And if you watch what I do on Instagram, I'm shooting in 2.7K. Unless I'm out there doing a job, I'm generally shooting at 2.7, and that works really well for social media as well as my YouTube channel. Those other files are so big. The takeaway, the quality of this drone is really, really good, especially at the price point it's at. Actually, let's talk about the price really quick. As a reminder, this is the lineup of prices that we're looking at when you're comparing across the different Mavic drones that most people are considering. Usually if someone's considering the Mavic Air 2S, it's because they're comparing it to the Mini or the Spark or the new ones that are coming out, and not necessarily comparing it to the Pro drones. But this is the lineup of prices and what this drone can do versus the Mavic Air 2 is why I have been flying my Mavic Air 2 so aggressively in hopes that I accidentally lose it and have to go buy the Air 2S. I want this drone. For the small jump in price, it's a lot more quality and a lot more bang for your buck. Oh, so God. These next two are things that I'm really drooling over right now, and one of them is updated active track. A lot of people want their drones to follow them, and as a reminder, the Minis don't do this. The Air 2S active track is upgraded technology from the Air 2, and it's way better at tracking you. You can see in some of this footage I'm sharing here with my Mavic Air 2, my drone's following me, but it's kind of struggling. So as I'm coming in, the drone's coming in fast, and then it kind of like, adjusts and then comes with me, and then it comes in too close, and then it comes with me. The Mavic Air 2S is good. And by good, I mean way better. The next thing I'm drooling over is the better range. And specifically, the Air 2 can go 10 kilometers, but the Air 2S can go 12 kilometers or 1.24 additional miles. It doesn't mean that you want to necessarily fly your drone a lot further. This is the way I think about it. Have you ever been in a parking garage on your cell phone, and then as you pulled into the parking garage, you like, hello, are you still there? You like lose connection, right? When you're flying your drone in places where there might be interference, it's very easy for your drone to disconnect from the controller. And if you haven't experienced it before, basically imagine flying your drone and you're looking down at your controller and all of a sudden it's gone black because you have lost connection. It's kind of stressful. It's basically not desirable. So when you have a drone with better range like the Air 2S, 1.24 additional miles is a lot of extra range. It basically means the connection between your controller and the drone is a little bit more solid, and that's a good thing. These next two are awesome for people who are just getting into drones and buying the Air 2S as their first drone, which is a lot of people who are talking to me on Instagram, which I totally support. And the first one is additional obstacle avoidance. So on the Mavic Air 2, you have obstacle avoidance on the front, the rear, and the bottom of the drone, which is great. Because imagine you're flying and then all of a sudden there's something in front of you. If you have obstacle avoidance on, your drone will just come to a stop. But you gotta make sure you put that safety setting on. So make sure you check my other videos in the description below. With the Air 2S, you have the added feature of having it on top as well. So especially if you're new and you're not very good at maneuvering your drone, having those extra sensors might help you to avoid crashing your drone. And this brings me into another one that so many new pilots love about the Air 2S, which is the quick shots. So when you have that additional sensor on top and you're using a lot of quick shots as you're learning to manually maneuver your drone on your own eventually, using quick shots is a really great crutch in the meantime, and having those additional obstacle sensors can help you from not crashing your drone. But the Air 2S has something even better. They have master shots, which means that your drone is doing more for you automatically. If you're familiar with the GoPro Quick app can cut on its own a fun little video for you that's already pre-edited and you're just downloading it. If you're at that level of creating, then it's a really great quick option to get some footage out of your drone. For other people who care about more advanced things, you might not care as much, but it's still a fun thing to have your drone doing so much for you, so you can pick and choose from that footage later if you decide to use it. So master shots is a really cool one in which your drone is doing all of the quick shots and even creating a video for you. I'm gonna answer 3 frequently asked questions I get all of the time, but if you have additional questions or other tips, add them in the comments below, and make sure you check the description because I'm always updating it with up-to-date info that will really help you out as you're getting into drones. A lot of people ask me, what about the size? Is the Air 2S a different size than the other drones? So the Mavic Air 2 versus the Mini is definitely a larger drone, but not by much. I still travel with my Air 2 all of the time. And the Air 2S is basically 25 paper clips more heavy than the Air 2. It's not heavy. I know this is one, but 25 of these I got big guns. And the other thing about the size is that it's 4 millimeters or 4 larger than the Air 2. So small. In other words, it's minimal. It's basically the same thing. I would say the one place that the Mavic Air 2 has the 2S beat is on battery time, but whatever. The way I think about battery time is almost like cooking time for cookies. You know, they'll be like, oh, put it in the oven for 15 minutes. But really, you put it in the oven for 5 and you check it every couple minutes thereafter because every oven is different. Every place in which you fly your drone is different. 34 minutes of flight time on the Mavic Air 2 and 31 minutes of flight time on the Mavic Air 2S is in perfect conditions, meaning there's no hot sun, there's no humidity, there's no cold, there's no wind, there's no anything, which is not real life. I think I'm gonna go make some cookies. Chocolate chip. But I still want the Mavic Air 2S, which by the way, this video is not sponsored at all. I'm really here to just help answer people's questions and get more people into flying drones, which here's another question people always ask me. What about those starter drones? What about those cheap starter drones where I can just practice? I flew one of these the other day with somebody who invested in a few of them to become a good pilot before making the larger investment. And she realized after flying my drones that it was not a good use of her money. So video on that on my channel if you want to see what that looks like. But flying drones is easy. I'm Christine. I'm here to help make drones so easy. They're so fun to fly. Check the description, add your comments below, and I'll see ya in the next adventure. Ciao.